top-ranked teams that you talked about went down, and a lot of people were buzzing about the fact that, well, it's not over. It's going to continue to happen.
These two teams met up back in January. It seems like so long ago in Salt Lake City as Drew Gilton gets the steal. And it was Utah getting the 2-point victory. It was such a close game, and the difference in that one, the 3-point shooting. As Lola Pendande can't hang on to it out of bounds.
Utah comes into this match a 3-point shooting team. They do early work in the post. It will be crucial for USC to make sure they stay on top of two of their keys, that transition, but you've got to get out and contest. These long balls, you cannot swap those with deuce buckets underneath. And USC is going to put the ball in the hands of Alyssa Peely.
Coach Track told us as Overbeck did everything but get that one to drop. A pretty shot, no good. Still scoreless here in the first. It's our big game here in Los Angeles. Continuing to bring awareness to breast cancer and breast cancer survivors. As Pendande, high post, help D, kicks it out. Provo off the mark. It's batted around. It comes down to USC. And defeating ranked Arizona State last weekend, this Utah team, they struggled in the first half. They turned it around defensively and offensively and got the three-pointers. They made 11 threes last weekend.
They shot 52.5% from downtown against ASU. They made 10 threes against Arizona, shooting 10 of 20. That's 50%. What a weekend it was for three-point land for the Utes.
Back in January, Peely, good help down, the takeaway from Pendande. Great recognition by Alyssa Peely. The drive and the swat, no good. India Rogers to the court. They play on. Provo loses it out of bounds, and right now to both sides.
A little sloppy. Last time these two teams met in Salt Lake City on January 12th, you were there. 67-65 victory for the home playing Utes. Alyssa Peely, 16 points, 8 rebounds. She shot 5 of 14. A close matchup in the mountain area, but Alyssa Peely was a focus.
USC tries to go USC 34-3. Every single USC player scored in double figures, but not
7, 8, 9 people really only playing 7. At that point earlier on, USC's Martin Tracker had a few more bodies to play. Right now he's pretty thin, suiting up 8. He's gonna play 7. Most of these starters are gonna play the majority of the minutes.
Danisha Provo give her another opportunity, and she's not gonna let that one slide. As the Utes go up by 1.
She is the starting wing for this University of Utah squad. She has been absolutely solid at 6 feet and that long range. She's really difficult to guard.
She is, and she's getting her quickness back and getting the belief in the knee. Hurt the knee last year in January. Took her some time to get back. Utes up by 1. Made free throws by Peely. Gilton, great read by Overbeck. Just had the hands up and gets the takeaway.
That's what she does. Overbeck is an incredible defender. There are a lot of great defenders in this Pac-12. I'm not sure that Overbeck is going to get a nod at the all-defensive team. I don't think she will. She should, but her stats really don't measure up. However, she's incredible with her hands, and you saw that good read there against Utah, who was trying to penetrate and get to the rim.
Third turnover of the game for Utah. That hurt them in the first meeting between these two teams. Hurt them early in the game against ASU last year as the clock winding down. Peely, Alyssa Peely, the freshman out of Anchorage, Alaska, come off of a career high last weekend at Washington State, too.
She is not just a back-to-the-basket player. You see how agile she is with the ball.
Gilton, guarded by Caldwell. Skip out to Provo. Drives it up, floats it up. No good, and the rebound down to USC.
Utah will want a shot. They'll always send about 2 people back, and they will pick up early. USC has an opportunity. If they're not taking the ball out of the net, they want to run a little bit. They want to use pace to their advantage and score out of transition, take it all the way to the rim.
First free throw good for Kayla Overbeck, the senior.
To get a lot of votes. The voting is happening this weekend by the coaches. She'll get a lot of nods for Freshman of the Year. Several other great freshmen in this conference. We're going to be keeping an eye on 1-2 here. Maxwell for University of Utah. Keep an eye on number 11. She's been absolutely solid this season, and there she is.
That quick release from Maxwell. It's tipped off the hands of Torres. It'll go the other way.
You got Charisma Osborne, UCLA, Taylor Jones, Oregon State, Maxwell here at Utah, Peely here at USC. Don't forget Sherrod, Jalen Sherrod at Colorado. Some of my top 5 freshmen in this league who have absolutely given us an amazing season. Hard to vote for that honor, Freshman of the Year.
It is scary good how talented the youth is in this conference and what is ahead for this conference. The competition this year has been the best that I've seen in many, many years, as there are some of the most talented freshmen, 4 of them right here in this ballgame.
And you know what's even amazing, those freshmen that I just mentioned, right here in the LA area, Krista, with Colorado just being at UCLA across the way, is that we've got 4 out of the 5 that I mentioned moments ago right here this weekend in LA.
Yeah, really something. Torres tries the ball to execute. And part of that is absolutely an execution. Turning it over, but good turn for Utah. Well, it looks good, but can't get it to go. Mura has checked in for USC.
Need 3-point shooting from Mura.
Angel Jackson in the post for the Trojans. Corbin in the high post for Utah as Maxwell is trying
wide and globally. The following when she goes on the road, people from those local towns wanting to go to see Sabrina play. How about the jersey that Nike came out with for her and the sales and sold out how quickly it was. It's more than just the stats. It's about her lifting and raising the game and bringing awareness, and it has been fantastic. What an honor to be part of it.
It's been so fun to watch and to see her growth, to see the program, to see this conference continue to get better and better. High post shot from Jackson, no good. And track wanting more offense. Healy up and gets the ball.
With her. So as Peely turns and faces the basket, she has to get through the first 2 front lines. Not been handling the ball very well. Need to do a better job at that. And of course, taking care of Peely, who already 7 points.
7 points in 5 minutes.
Phenomenal.
What a matchup she is. Becker has checked in for Utah. The shot no good in the high post.
We're very well likely looking at the Freshman of the Year, Pac-12, Alyssa Peely. Voting still happening. Very likely to happen.
Pretty shot. That's a good sign for USC. India Rogers, the freshman out of Dallas, Texas. She gets the 3 ball. Pendande, high post, realizes she's the open player, and she hits it. A much-needed bucket for the Utah Utes.
Her shot chart is so impressive right around that area. About 62% she shoots in the paint from about 4 to 10-foot range, maybe. She was just on the edge of what her shooting comfort was in terms of that shot zone, but she made it look good.
Let's stop a 10-0 run by USC, but try the right side, India Rogers. She likes that one as well. Back-to-back 3 balls for the freshman. Gilton uses the screen, gets the touch. Drew Gilton has put together the last 3 games. Solid effort all over the court for the Utes, and they need it.
All you have to do is take a look at Drew Gilden's game and watch as that sweet touch.
Definitely so. Inbound for the Trojans. Oh, what a screen. This shot just short by Rogers. Really sets an aggressive screen. Skip out Becker. She can hit the 3. This one too much on it, but it's tipped in the hands of Mo Corbin, the cleanup, and you can thank Kiana Moore, one of 2 seniors, for tipping that down to her. She's checked in for the Utes.
Well, you really like what Corbin does with this Utah team. About 14 minutes a game on average. She's played in 28 games. That's every game this season, including 1 start. So coming off the bench, you need productivity from her.
Overback, some body contact, little fadeaway is short. Utah trying to chip away at this deficit. Maxwell, too much on it. Mo Corbin point.
On the bench for Utah, those 34 points, Krista, that you alluded to last time. And they're getting pretty good bench productivity, but USC is really stopping Utah, and they're pressing, pushing, and making Utah uncomfortable.
Rogers testing.
What happened? happy about that doesn't matter. Rogers, so impressive. Krista, this is a player, and due to injuries to the USC Trojans, she's had to make big plays that maybe a junior or senior would be asked to.
4 key players out for USC. I mean, 4 key players. Alexis Aaron, a redshirt sophomore, a captain for this team, has not played. Stephanie Watts, she had 4 games, 2 starts. They lose her to injury. Aaliyah June, they're hoping to maybe get her back for postseason. She's out, and then Madison Campbell did not have her out either.
These were some pretty good wins. This is a team that's gone deep into overtime with several teams. They pulled one out right here in the Galen Center, giving UCLA their first loss of the season in a couple of overtimes. Pretty impressive.
And these teams tied up, Utah and USC in the standings, and they are similar in that they are so young, graduating key pieces from a season ago, and having some players transfer as grad students, and it changed. 1:20 left in the first quarter. Missed by the Utes, and now an opportunity for USC to try to extend it.
1 minute remaining in the first quarter.
A minute left in the first quarter. Angel Jackson back into the high post. Trying to use the screen was Rogers. She had the hot hand earlier, and now she says
the position in this game where you're leading by 8 points at 17-9, and you know USC is shooting pretty well. You want to look for that high percentage shot. No need to rush something that isn't there. They've been very good this year in their half-court offense.
It's subbing quite a bit. Again, not a lot of depth, and this pace has been fairly fast. The shot is in and out, and it'll go to USC.
And Roberts for Utah matching that substitution. She has run players in and out of this game, and wisely so. They've been productive.
Mura, right corner, no good. Peely tries to keep it alive, and they'll say it'll go to Utah.
Well, this little baseline run that they're looking for, a quick hit out of their offense quickly by number 25, Mura. I want them to run this again for her, and I want her to take that shot again because she looked good in warm-ups. She knows she can make that shot. I don't want that missed shot right there to thwart her or make her lose her confidence.
She is a shooter, guarding Drew Gilton up top right now with the ball. He's going to try to cut into this deficit before the first quarter ends. Out of bounds.
On the way, or I should say north of here, about a mile, not too far from here, the Staples Center, where our own Sabrina Ionescu of the Pac-12 so eloquently spoke. And at the end of her speech, you might have noticed that she sort of made a call to action to all the girl dads and everybody out there to continue Kobe Bryant's legacy of growing the sport, women's basketball. So thank you to the dads that we just showed in the pictures with their little girls to help them understand that their dreams can come alive. That's what we hope to continue to achieve. And thank you to Sabrina Ionescu for reminding us about that message and giving that call to action. Awareness equals action.
Yeah, did such a great job. Oh, high to low and not able to make the hoop was Angel Jackson. Kimry Martinez checked in for the Utes to start this second quarter. The Utes were able to come right out and go inside immediately. They got it to Mo Corbin. She scored to cut it to a 6-point USC lead. There's Corbin again. Mo Corbin. And now it's a 4-point game.
Well, with that work rate, with that footwork and that handwork and how she is having to go against Peely and Jackson and those bigs, Lynn Roberts is going to keep her in. No need to take her out. She's fighting.
Redshirt sophomore out of Quebec, Canada, and redshirted last year. Had a knee injury, and she's had to get herself back, and she's really starting to come into her game. Again, young teams, it takes time to really understand systems, pace, and when you come off of an injury, it takes confidence to believe and trust in that knee and know that everything's okay. Corbin calling forward again, posting up against Jackson. Faces up this time and runs into Andy Torres.
For your left shoulder, or go ahead and kick it back out to your guard, swing the ball a little bit, repost again when you get your half-court set.
Yeah, it looks like Corbin didn't realize that Torres had gone to that same direction.
Yeah, and she was a little deeper too, tough angle. In the chemistry, no drama on this team. They have each other's backs in the future of this team.
Well, the youth, the talent, and the group that she has come.
We of a close one in Tucson. 45 left. Keep in mind, seeds 2 through 4 undetermined. A lot will be determined at the end of this evening. Colorado at UCLA. They'll play at 8.
Overbeck gets the second free throw, and she's up to 3 points. It's a 5-point lead for USC here in the second quarter. 7:55 left in this one. As it's tipped possibility she may not make the all-defensive team, and they're going to call 5 seconds on Martine on the talented individuals in this conference on the defensive end, and only so many can make an award, and that just shows you how good. I mean, she's one of the best out there as far as steals go and just defensively, rebounding, blocking shots. 6th turnover for Utah. Overbeck tries to go up. Mo Corbin standing her ground, and she gets fouled.
That's what was asked to do in terms of contesting and playing her hard, but laying off and not getting called for the foul. Now watch immediately what happens. She has high hands, she keeps him up, turns and tries to box out, and that's why she was able to draw the foul.
High, the first personal against Kayla Overbeck. And Martine looking for the play call, and that foul whistled moments ago against Desi Caldwell, her first. She guards Martine in the ball. Corbin, high to low, trying to get some space. She gets fouled, and quick personals now. The second
step behind, Corbin has the ability to make a move because she has that established space and draws that foul. Tough to guard, well executed.
But not able to take advantage. Mo Corbin missing both free throw. Waiting. Britta Maxwell and Pendande have been the leading scorers. 2 freshmen on this team, but looking for others to kind of catch up to where they need to be. And Mo Corbin is one of those.
Well, speaking of Pendande, you know, somebody that can score in the paint and do the early work, and USC focused on Lola Pendande. She's not really been in the game. She's only got 2 points. She's only played 4 minutes. Great production from the rest of the crew from Utah.
Pretty look as Aubrey Nodi has checked in for the Utes. She was guarding Angel Jackson there, and Jackson just up, and a beautiful touch. Martine somehow scoops that one up off the glass. First points for her.
Another one of the many freshmen on this Utah team with great height. I love the length of this Utah team, especially the youth. That's hard to guard, and that allows you to be versatile, run them in some different positions.
Martine at 6 foot, and they hope eventually the starting point guard. And now some pressure by Maxwell forces the.
Watch this. Now, you know, she's coming in off the bench, right, as a backup wing. Now she's a scorer off the bench. Shooter, scorer. She's a good 3-point shooter. She is much better at her pull-up, pretty accurate there, but her game is growing.
5-point USC lead with 6:09 left in the second quarter. Provo off the mark into the hands of Pili. Provo's got the green light, though. She is a true shooter, and she's not going to stop now. Pili, she can hit it and does. Nothing but net for Alyssa Pili. What a tough matchup she is.
I told you she was going to take at least 2 3-pointers in this game. That's about what she's going to give you, and she's going to make at least 1. Well, she's 1 for 2. There you go.
Coming off of a career high, 32 points last weekend against Washington State, and her 12th double-figure game in a row, and cleaning things up inside. It's Aubrey Nodi. Nodi, the sophomore out of Colorado Springs, a transfer from Iowa Western, Tammy, and has been trying to kind of train and get up to speed to this level. This is just her 12th game playing.
They've played 28, less than half the games they've been in. She only averages 5 minutes, but if she gives you that look, Lynn Roberts will run her in to think about in terms of scout.
Pili got double teamed and could not get the shot off, and so with 5:03 left here in the first half, USC up 23-17. Torres has been quiet, hands it off to Maxwell. She's guarded by Caldwell. Provo, and they're going to call an offensive foul against the Utes.
She paid the ultimate price for this terrible disease, but she did it for all of us to understand that in time, better medicine is coming. We're moving forward. We are advancing the standard of medicine and the standard of care. And so for all of us who are affected by cancer of any kind, things are getting better, but I don't ever want us to forget about Kay Yao, and the pavers that she laid for us to continue to move forward with this. And truly just thank you from the center of my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, she was just she's a big reason. You know, the teams get the pink gear, and and sometimes I think they have an idea of why they're doing it. But the celebration is great for survivors, but also those that are battling it. As you know, it's just making sure there's awareness and making sure you're doing the things that you need to do to check on it.
Doing the things you need to do. Awareness equals action equals advocacy. We can make change together. We join forces and we do that, and that's what Kay Yao would have wanted, and so thrilled to be able to, you know, me just one little small sliver of carrying on her legacy.
Definitely so. Peely continues. Torres finally getting into the action. Peely's up to 12 points in this first half, and there's Andi Torres. First points of the game for her. A sophomore out of Quebec, Canada. Peely gets the double team, and Jackson moving without the basketball as Gilton tries to McDonald's All-American. Averaging 7 points a game, 5 boards.
Out year. She needs a little time with player development over the summer. Lots of work going to be had there. Great start, laid the foundation. She'll get to work and she'll be much improved.
1 of 2 from the line. The foul was called against Gilton as Kiana Moore and Drew Gilton a miscue.
That Utah has struggled this first half with turnovers. They've got 9 turnovers. Actually scratched that with that last one. Make it 10. The stat monitor updated just as I was saying that. So double-digit turnovers, 20 minutes of basketball, not going to help you against a feisty USC team.
And yet, right in this game, that's a plus for Lynn Roberts to know, even though the team's not executing the way she would like them to, it's just a 6-point deficit as they look to run, but there's a takeaway, another turn, and India Rogers leaping up and grabbing this one, and she's not going to stop. Coast to coast, India Rogers with the hoop.
So the 11th turnover turns into a bucket at the other end, and that's where you're going to hurt yourself. It's the turnover, is there a bucket? And that's what USC is going to do. Not to mention that Utah is not shooting well from long ball. They are shooting only 20% when they come in, averaging 38, 39, and some different players averaging higher than that.
Peely, quick shot, can't hit it. And Lynn Roberts calling out the play as the possession before. Well, USC's taken 9 points off the turnovers committed, and Utah's yet to get any extras.
Tested, nobody's stepping up and stopping ball.
Foul against Mura, her second. And Mura guarding Drew Gilton. Martine back in, guarded by Caldwell. Looking for a double high screen. Martine can't get it. Torres trying to save it, and it's on the end line. It'll go. Caldwell sees the trap. Asking for some help, and now she's calling it out. Desi Caldwell, the sophomore captain for USC. Rogers uses the screen well. Right there, Peely with the O board. 19 with the tip. Now 17 on the shot clock. It'll stay with USC.
Just the fact that she tipped it with her fingertips gives USC a second chance here in this half court.
Peely with 12 points. Rogers with 10. The only players in double digits so far on either side. Peely backs Torres down, uses the backboard. Just fundamentally sound is Alyssa Peely.
Can't stop her. I mean, you think you're stopped and you try to push her away from the basket. She faces up and dribbles, and she goes all the way.
Gilton on the drive. She gets fouled and
gets out of the way, and Peely says, I got myself a lane. Let me muscle my way in.
Drew Gilton to the second. This is the 13th game in a row that Alyssa Peely has scored in double figures. We're only in the first half. I mean, she makes it look so easy.
She's 100% from the free throw line. So you put her on the free throw line, you're going to be punished as well.
And so a minute left here in the first half. And if you're Utah, now you've gotten it below double digits, and you hope you can maybe get a stop here and continue this. Always just a different feeling when you're not down by the double digits. Provo trying to stay with Rogers. Rogers can't get it. Nodi, big board. 8-point USC lead. Maxwell USC's done a nice job on her. She has yet to score in this one. She's their leading scorer, averages 13 a game. That is huge. She's either got to find a way to get herself going or the Utes got to find something for her. Gilton, clock winding down. Partial block, but a foul.
62-61. Stanford leads by 1. 22 seconds left in that game. Keep in mind, they will advance. Stanford would advance to 14-3.
Free throw good for Drew Gilton. It's a 7-point USC lead. Shot clock winding down and game clock. Kicks out to the 3. Oh my goodness. USC up by 7 over the Utes. Alyssa Peely, what a month of February Tammy Blackburn she's having. Her month stats for February, averaging 20 points a game, 6 rebounds, 52% shooting. Tonight, 14 points, 4 boards. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not just her double-doubles and her consistency there on the opponents, how they are forced to scout her and being a top option. A lot of the coaches will tell you that. But it's also her place in the conference stats on the chart. She's in top 5, top 3 in several categories. She's just impressive.
Tough start to this quarter for the Utes. Their 12th turnover. That has been a big-time problem for them in this game. We'll see if they can get it turned around. The rebound out to Provo. Gilton uses the screen, kicks it back over. Provo, high archer is good. That's a good sign for the Utah Utes. Tanisha Provo adds to her total. She has 6 points.
And just like that, it is only a 4-point lead. You know, I just mentioned this. It's not a comfortable 7-point lead at the halftime for USC. And now with that big bucket, as soon as Utah gets going, watch out.
That's the good thing and a frustrating thing at times about being a 3-point shooting team is that when they're going,
you live by them, you live by them.
You're right.
You die by them, you die by them.
It can really turn a game around, and it can also cause you problems. As the shot clock was winding down, the shot by Rogers no good, and it'll go to the Utes.
Tanisha Provo, who has been so solid using that screen, and when that USC defense, the entire momentum is coming to her, thinking that there's going to either be a play there that's going to happen in the paint from her rolling and taking it all the way. That leaves that left deep corner open.
Pindande's been quiet, takes it into Overbeck, and just too much contact.
Establish your space, and then make your opponent force to back you down. And when you hold your space, you're going to be able to draw that player control, and that's exactly what Overbeck does. That's a veteran player in Overbeck against a young player in Pindande, who is a freshman.
And Pindande picking up the 3rd personal. She's had some games where she's had some foul trouble, and it hurts this team. They need to get her going. She only has 2 points in this one. Maxwell, the leading scorer, has none, as Rogers, another 3-ball for her.
Rogers feeling pretty hot. She is 3 of 7, and Coach Track will take that any day of the week. From downtown, that long ball game for her has been on point. You got to try to match it, because you know Utah's coming with it.
Freshman out of Dallas, Texas. Gatorade Player of the Year coming in at USC. Utes going to continue to go to Pindande, and Pindande trying to get some space, and this time
Rogers again. Look at this. That ball reversal. So Overbeck to the top, and then quick hit to the corner. Rogers spotting up. And Krista, we got to tell you, big news down in Tucson. Arizona took Stanford Cardinal to overtime at the McHale Center, and they pull it out. The Arizona Wildcats with a huge win over Stanford Cardinal by 1, 73-72. And again, this Pac-12 conference in terms of seeding for the tournament next week, still wide open, because Stanford stays at 13 wins. They go to 4 losses, 13-4. Think of interesting. That UCLA-Colorado matchup tonight, so crucial.
Definitely so. Can't get the second. Rebound to Peely. And for Arizona, Tammy, they have their 12th win in conference play, and it just gets more and more interesting with how it's all going to finish up with matchups and seedings. Overbeck in the high post tries to go down to Peely, and she goes sliding across the inline. It ends up in the hands of the Utes.
Just to finish your thought there for you, Krista, is Arizona will then face Cal after this big win. They could go to 13-5 and having it complete could fall to 13-5. Amazing.
Oh, the and one on an inbound.
Going to be able to get a screen and free up Maxwell. You love that. It's simple. Rogers, who was defending Maxwell, got caught up. She could not go over the top, and that gave Maxwell enough time to come off, pop, and shoot. You're going to take a screen on Maxwell. USC is going to lock and trail on all of the screens. You got to try to stay attached because her window is pretty keen. If she has a small window, she can take it. She'll be accurate.
They give that foul to Kira White. That is her third. So White and Caldwell each with 3 personals. And a shot off the mark by Kira White. Just a 5-point lead. Provo can't get it. Pendande lands hard and 20 on the shot clock. Torres has such beautiful rotation. She connects.
Utah was 2 of 11 in the first half from that range, and they've been able to pick it up with 2 early threes, and they are much more efficient.
Yep, that being the third one there by Torres, her second third this half, and it's a 7-0 Utah run. They've cut it to 2. Rogers, SC needs this one, and they get it. The Trojans hoping she could get the hot hand once again, and she did.
Rogers is shooting 50%, and she loves that spot. So as Utah's thinking about some of the other players for USC, she is just staying wide and making herself available. As that defense draws, her teammates are hitting her on the double.
13 points for Rogers. Pendande gets the pick and roll and lays it up good.
Again, on her shot chart, when you dive into Pendande's shot chart, about 190 shots from within that paint and about a 4 to 8 foot range. She is shooting 62% from that particular range. Not overall, but from that range. Keep feeding her the ball and keep feeding Peely the ball. We got ourselves a great matchup in the paint.
Alyssa Peely continues to add to her totals. I like how she reads the defense so well. As the shot from Maxwell is no good. Rebound down to Rogers. 5-point USC lead. Yeah, but Pendande, oh, what a beautiful no-look quick pass as there was a miscue on the defense and Overbeck was wide open.
7 quick points by USC has given them a little bit more comfort. Utah was making a comeback, and now all of a sudden USC up by 7 again. They were only up by 2 moments ago.
Overbeck to the court again and ends up in the hands of India Rogers. And Rogers didn't have numbers, gonna stick with it though. She keeps going and finishes. I didn't think she was gonna do it, but she just stuck with it.
She and Peely have 18 points apiece, and Peely and Rogers are both freshmen.
Pendande working hard and one. Takes it at Overbeck and
Up for grabs, a lot of great basketball to be played. That UCLA-Colorado match tonight at 8, so crucial, as are so many other games.
Definitely so. And some close ones. That overtime 1-point victory for the Wildcats. What a game that is. A close one against the Huskies and Oregon State as well. As a kick out is perfect for Mura. You wanted to see more of that, and she just gave it to you.
Wanted to see more of that because with a thin roster, you need a player like Mura who is available to score for you. She's got a great 3-point shot. She can hurt you by being a scouting report nightmare if she is hot. But how about this execution really on the opposite side with just a nice dive? And was that Corbin that dove to the basket on that weak side? That's a good-looking move.
Mo Corbin having a solid game, one of her best so far. But USC, first half of play, Tammy, shot at 33%. This quarter, shooting at almost 64%. It's the movement without the ball. Overbeck.
But you really got to go back and credit the feed. That was a good-looking bounce pass to Corbin.
Foul against Gilton, her second. As Peely she misses, but the cleanup on the weak side, Angel Jackson in perfect position.
That's a highlight reel for Mark Track and the assistant coaches for USC to show Angel Jackson just an absolute grip out of the air on that O-board and put back.
3 ball, no good for the Utes, and USC looking to push. Rogers skips it over to Caldwell, and immediately Provo able to get back. Good transition D by the Utes.
You're USC, you got a 9-point lead. You want to control the last minute and 40 ticks in this quarter. You have owned this quarter.
Martine back in for Utah, as well as Kiana Moore. Healy takes it up to Provo. Mo Corbin trying to help out, and
you could see in that play right there, she just had to muscle it, but she was bound and determined to go against up and make her free throws. She is 100%. She is 5 of 5, Krista, from the free.
And she gets a much needed rest as USC is bringing some full court pressure.
It's a great pass.
Oh, Provo following and cleans it right up. Love that effort. It's something you learn. It's the basics of just following the shot in.
It's an excellent effort. First of all, I love the pass. Just, you know, early on in the half court, just go with the long pass diagonal to the deep corner. That is a shot area for Utah where they make a high percentage, a number of their shots. They shoot about 130 shots coming into this game from that left corner, and they shoot about 41% from that.
9-point USC lead. Three players for USC with 3 personals. They have to be careful without a lot of depth. But doing pretty well here as the third quarter winds down. Rogers batted out of bounds with 4 on the shot clock. It stays with
well defended.
The 4-second play goes to India Rogers, and Mo Corbin gets the rebound.
Love Corbin's game. The more she's playing in this game, and I said Lynn Roberts isn't going to take her out because she's grinding, she's competing, she deserves to be on the floor. The more I see her play, the more I love her. There it is, the high hands on the O board. And she is just willing her team back in this game.
Just that extra effort, just keeping the hands up high.
And she's just, you know, she's skilled, using her mechanics pretty well, and I think her positioning, really her footwork and positioning, where she is on that loss there, that missed shot.
Rogers with the clock down to 2, off the back of the rim, and that's going to do it
here this evening.
Well, quite a line for this young player. I mean, 3 boards, 3 assists, a couple of steals. There's not much she hasn't been doing. She's getting to the line, she's hitting threes. She's just really putting on a clinic.
Yeah, only 1 personal foul too, so she's going to them out. USC isn't. We should not either. Lots of basketball to be played, and with the great 3-point shooting that they have, they can flip this script pretty quick.
Sure can. Martine is in, as well as Moore, and there's the active hands of Rogers, almost a steal. Shot clock down to 5. Maxwell trying to get space, and she does, and sometimes that's all it takes is 1.
And look at that, with time winding down and what looked to be a turnover and a little sloppy half-court offense, Utah turns that into gold, and they continue to chip away, only down by 5.
6 points for Brenna Maxwell. The shot no good. The rebound to Corbin.
Great box out defensively by Corbin, grabbing the big D board.
It's a 7-0 Utah run. Good start to this quarter. Martine. She's been good as of late, but can't get that one. Track talking to the team, wanting them to work the ball. They work it into the high post. Peely, and she's dumping it down to Overbeck as Becker topples to the court.
I want 11, 12 feet. They bring her up to the free throw line. She looked and looked to go over the top and turned and saw a zone. Didn't realize how open she was. Of course, she could also argue against me that she was just working the clock in favor of them, but I want Peely to take that shot.
Maxwell Lee. Another turnover for the Utes. They're 16th on the game. And a lost opportunity. That's where it's really been hurting them. And they've given up 16 points off of turnovers also. Just too many. I'm sure for Coach Roberts' liking.
Not a good pass. Oh, USC got it back, though. Great defense by Utah. Nothing you can do there. Not a good pass, but USC gets bailed out by some good hands and a loose ball.
Nia Becker just loses at Caldwell with the takeaway. And they look to push. Peely running, tries to slip it around the defender to Overbeck, and one too many. Inside, this time it's Kiana Moore taking it in. So many different players getting involved. This is a Utah team that's had 8 different scoring leaders. And right back at you, Peely continuing to add to her total. She has 22.
Now you understand why I wanted her to take the shot when she was wide open in the zone earlier. She's feeling it. She has 22 points. She's a great shooter from there. It's too easy for Peely.
Mo Corbin knocks it off the hands of USC, so the inbound to the Utes. Mo Corbin with a new career high. She has 10 points.
She is looking good. I love Corbin's game.
Desi Caldwell wants to slow it down just a bit, making the play call.
Corbin, who averages 14 minutes, already over that average, and likely will play several minutes deep into this fourth quarter, if not the rest of the game. They'll probably get her a quick blow, but she's given everything she's got.
She just tipped that one over to Kiana Moore, and the Utes outrun. I am.
Sprained ankles and all.
That's right.
How strong are your ankles?
We're so depleted that it doesn't even matter anymore. Free throw's good. Every time the lead is extended, the Utes keep chipping away.
Yep.
5-point USC lead.
And Lynn Roberts knows they have not played their best basketball by any stretch.
Overbeck takes it into Pendande. Can't get it, but a great play by Angel.
Growth and challenge of a coach who is coaching young players, but yet the excitement to know that be in so that they can learn.
Jackson 1 of 2 from the stripe.
Utah wants to play in the WNIT. They want to play it past Las Vegas. Extend their season, and
Utah, you have to be at 500 or better on your overall record. And so a win or 2 is crucial for the Utes to be.
She said, hey, Tammy, you're absolutely right. USC and us, we are playing for the same thing.
I didn't hear her say that, but.
You didn't hear her say I was absolutely right?
Yeah.
You really are in denial, KB.
Yeah.
Both of these teams very similar, playing for similar situations. And how about just the level of play by everybody in the Pac-12 that has vastly improved, which makes this conference the #1 RPI conference in the nation.
USC trying to go high to low, and it was at the arc stepping out of bounds, and so it sends it the other direction. USC hanging on to a 6-point lead. We've got a good game here. It was a slow start for both of these teams, but we've seen some really solid defense and some good offensive sequences. The switch to Rogers. There's Jackson against Pendande. Can't get the angle. The rebound down to Gilton. Good decision. It was a great defensive rotation and help. Gilton was open for a second. Or Pendande, excuse me, and then USC steps over, gets the takeaway. Rogers trying to get some room. Jackson working the screen.
To brag that the Pac-12 is the only conference with 6 teams in the top 30 RPI. Let me give you some perspective here. The Big Ten has the second most with 5. That's a good conference. And they have 5. And then, of course, a reminder what we just said, the Pac-12, we boast the
really impressive with the 6 teams above 30 RPIs. And it's going to be very interesting to see how things finish up across the nation and where teams end up as far as the bracket goes. As Gilton on the little wheel play, I see that play quite often from her, and she's able to finish almost every time.
She is a great finisher. That is one of the things that when you break down her game and see where she's looking to get so that she can get a high percentage bucket, it's about where she finishes and how she finishes that makes her so tough to guard.
She has 7. Speaking of tough to guard, not many teams have figured out a way to guard Alyssa Peely and slow her down.
And Krista, USC has an answer for every Utah bucket. It has got to be frustrating if you're Lynn Roberts and you don't. And then you got to try to keep Peely honest, and you can't because she's just too good.
Yep, Gilton has 5 points, but Peely has 22.
I like that look.
Much needed 3. The bench likes it as well for Utah.
Gosh, the youth and the talent and the skill on this floor. Freshmen, sophomores, really lighten it up for us.
3.5 left in the ball game. Oh, good curl screen, Mura. Kind of squeezes that one in. Like the play of the freshman Mura.
And again, a big bucket for Utah, but what? An answer by the Trojans.
Yep. And at this point, if you're the Utes, you cannot continue to trade them. You got to get some stops. Torres skips it out. Oh, off the back of the rim, and there's some contact inside, and Kiana Moore.
Length to shoot over the top, and then Mura, who was a player, had no idea how much playing time she was going to get this year. Some injuries, some great practice work by her, showing her coaches that she can drill shots and make them in timely times during the game, and she's in there for that reason.
Peely leaning in, drawing the contact, and she'll get what he really likes about her is that she doesn't get rattled. Nothing really phases her.
I asked off the court, does she ride pretty high? Does she ride pretty low, pretty even keel? And they said just like she does on the court, she's really even keel.
Yeah.
She laughs a little bit, has fun, takes her academics and basketball seriously. She just very, very even keel.
She hits both free throws. She's up to 26 points, and she forces the 4th personal on Pendande as the lane was open for Maxwell. And a ton. Which team's going to be able to hang on here? Can USC or can Utah continue to make a stop and get a score? They've struggled. It's been a little back and forth. You said it, SC having the answer most of the time here in this second half of this 4th quarter.
Overbeck working hard to try to get a 1v1 in the post. Oh, that's a great move, great screen by Overbeck, but Rogers with a rare miss. She's had the hot hand. I do like the look. They called that themselves. Little 2-game there, didn't happen.
Just under 2 minutes left in the ball game, and an untimely turnover, an opportunity for the Utes, and they hand it over.
Yeah, the Utah Utes are going to go back and look at this game, regardless of where they finish tonight, whether they win or lose. Still plenty of time for them to pull this one out. But they're going to realize that they lost this game on the turnovers.
Yep.
And they've got 19. And, you know, Arizona took Stanford to overtime in Tucson earlier tonight. They forced Stanford to nearly 20. I don't have the final stats. Might have been 20, might have been 21. But nonetheless, far too many turnovers for the Stanford Cardinals.
Overbeck at the last second, just moving without the ball. And Peely, knowing she was double teamed, she had an open teammate and she found her.
Mark Track is standing in front of us in our announce position, the head coach at USC. He is pumped up, fired up about
1 minute on your feet, here we go.
Rogers losing her footing. A little bit slow to get up, and it's a jump ball between quick.
Get back in the coach's box.
Inbound to Mura. And the Utes, it doesn't appear going to foul. Try to get the steal, they do. Gilton and then Becker. Utes out running under a minute more. They need a hoop. Becker didn't want it. Inside to Corbin, she does, and she gets fouled.
And they did, but then things got muffled, and USC turned it right back over to her. They worked hard to get it, 45 feet, 46 feet in 5 seconds.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
I totally feel
it's Utah with the inbound. They get it into Provo, way up top and straight through.
Quick timeout.
That's right.
And that's the great use of your timeouts. And so Utah going to try to initially
Sophomore out of San Antonio. And an 82% free throw.
Caldwell grew up in a basketball family. I don't think she had a choice. I think she had to play.
I think you're right.
Older sister would say. Look at that.
Provo can't get it. Another board for Peely as she's knocked down. And a foul going to be UCLA. This Colorado team, they must be one of the most scary teams out there. As they
and nobody wants to face them next week in Vegas. Nobody wants to face a lot of teams in Vegas, and that just speaks.
A 6-point USC lead.
He does not want any three, so he wants his team to come up tight and force that right there. He wants to give up the 2 and not give up the 3. Foul on called. Watch USC again play tight and come up and guard right there because they don't want him to take a 3. And Utah's going to shoot quick 3s from very long range. 30.
The best ball going into the Pac-12 tournament. Maxwell gets fouled taking the 3, and she's going to get 3.
But has happened here. So with a player like Maxwell, this is almost automatic. As she comes in with the throw line, she'll get 3 likely. And again, you're back down to only a lot can happen. The problem is Utah doesn't have any timeouts, but USC calls one established that they want to host. They desperately want to host, and they need to be able to finish strong. Time for Oregon State. I love that team, and I saw them play very well at Stanford last weekend. They need to continue to play well. They'll face Washington State on Sunday.
Throw tonight. Exceptional after coming off of her 32-point career high at Washington State. Maxwell can't get it. And a jump ball between Torres where it's possible.
Maybe June.
Maybe. Oh, and Torres, they'll say, the foot of Peely. So a defensive play. And Maxwell, quick 3, hits it.